Hello and welcome to Is There Something in This, the podcast where Jason Chatfield and me, Scott Dooley, come up with cartoons for the New Yorker.
You did it.
I did it.
That's the first.
We did
It's
it.
first for a while. Nailed it.
We have 2 live shows coming up.
Yes, 2 big live shows. Friday the 17th of May in California. That's at NCS Fest. And the other one is even sooner. And that is April 9th at 9:30
Oh, we have a date.
p.m. we
It's
have
very
a date.
late for me.
Very
I might
late.
have to have a nap in the afternoon. 9:30.
Yeah. I know it's the only time that our very special guest could do it.
Oh,
We
we're not gonna
No,
tell you
we're
who
not
our
gonna tell you.
special. Can we tell one of the guests?
Yeah, well, the special guest.
Let's do the
for-
California guest.
California guest is a really, really big one for our podcast.
Yeah.
We are a podcast about coming up with New Yorker cartoons.
Sure.
So our guest...
Robert De Niro, because he's from New York. He's the New Yorker. Is it? I'm going to try to guess. I'm going to try to guess.
All right, I'll give you 3 guesses.
Okay.
It's like, no, so it's not Robert De Niro.
Okay, that doesn't count as a
Okay,
guess. That
yeah.
doesn't count as a guess.
Yeah, it does.
All right. New
All
Yorker.
right, yeah. It's pretty big.
Is Joe DiMaggio alive?
Yeah, no. No.
it's not-
Who else?
Okay. Is it a real person or is it a fictional? 'Cause-
It's not the guy from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. No.
okay. Okay, well, I'm fresh out of
That's
my head.
everything?
My 3 guesses were Robert De Niro, Joe DiMaggio,
DiMaggio.
and the bloke from Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Well, I'm very sorry to disappoint you,
okay.
but it's only the longtime New Yorker cartoon editor and current cartoon editor of Esquire magazine,
Bob Mankoff.
Bob Mankoff.
Wow.
He is our guest for the live podcast on
Okay,
the 17th
I want you
of
to be
May.
very honest.
Yes, okay.
When pitching this,
Yeah.
listen, is he going to be?
I know what you're going to say.
Is he going to be disappointed that Mark Maron's not interviewing him?
I am going to be wearing glasses and grow a beard. I am going to wear plaid.
The live set is going to be a garage in Burbank.
A photo of Obama and me shaking hands. Maybe a guitar in the corner. Yes, I'm afraid I sold it as it stands. It's a couple of buffheads who do cartoons for the New Yorker coming up with cartoons for the New Yorker. It's right up his alley.
Great.
He's the inventor of the caption competition, don't you know? He invented it. He came up with that for the New Yorker.
Right.
It wasn't a thing before his tenure as cartoon editor of 20 years. Yeah. Did you ever see Very Semi-Serious?
You've sent it to
I think
me.
I sent it to you.
Yeah.
HBO documentary.
No,
about-
I haven't watched it.
Right.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I've got a day off
So
today.
he's the star of that. It kind of charts his whole life
wow.
as cartoon editor. So tickets for the April 9th show. This is for people. Anyone
It's in
gonna be
New York City.
New York City.
We can say where it's at.
Yeah, it's going to be at Caveat in Clinton Street in the Lower East Side. April 9th, 9:30 p.m. Caveat.nyc for tickets. Book them as soon as you can because the pre-sale tickets are $10 and they're $15 at the door. So book ahead, caveat.nyc.
April 9.
April 9th.
These
Tell
are
your
always
friends.
good things as well. Like we get a lot of people messaging us saying we're from Australia, for instance. We're going to be in New York at this time.
Yeah.
Did I tell you this? This may be more of an off-air conversation,
Uh-oh, okay.
but
Is this an
my
editing
my partner wife,
Partner wife.
my partner wife. I don't have the balls for polygamy, but I want a special name. So sister wife doesn't work.
My partner wife.
My
yes.
partner wife she met up with this friend of hers or something.
Okay.
And during the conversation, they were saying, "Oh, now blah 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 was saying you're getting married," and she was like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Tell me about this guy. This is like a person she's known for years who lives in London."
Right.
Anyway, she goes, "Oh, he's a comedian," and blah 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 blah. Kind of gives a bit of a broad brushstrokes rundown. Anyway, as the conversation's going on, you know how like when someone's talking about their partner, you kind of like you just get to know a bit more about them. Like just as a conversation goes
Sure.
on, you're like, oh yeah. So Sophie was, she has this gig in the Queens.
Right.
Oh really? What do you mean she has a regular gig? Oh yeah. So
Right,
she's a
right.
pianist as well as this other thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of chat was happening.
Yeah, okay.
And the woman goes, does he do a podcast
No.
about the... Yeah. And she was like...
Wait a
and Ashika
minute.
was like, well, yeah. And then So this person in London who just knows Ashika, just by chance listens to this podcast. So if those people are coming to New York,
Yes.
I'm not giving you a free ticket. That's what I'm trying to say. That's kind of a long
That
way
is the
around.
longest way around to saying you're not getting any comps.
You're getting nothing.
There are no doors. There's no comps on the door.
doorlets, yeah.
Even my wife will be paying.
Yeah.
We're gonna be. We're also going to be selling merch. I know we've already sold out.
merch?
The merch is prints of our cartoons.
Okay.
That we've done on the pod. That come up with on the pod and sold to the magazine. Also shirts. Got some shirts. Bit SS.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I like
big
that.
steamship.
That's very on
bit
brand.
of an iceberg.
Yeah.
The iceberg says scandal. The ship says SS government. The water is the tide of opinion, of public opinion.
The other one I always like is
Everything's labelled.
Just nondescript man in a suit with a
Yep.
briefcase that says Europe. Or like,
Oh my god! Let's do a bunch. We'll just do a whole bunch of different SS
those are the
cartoons.
best, like-
The worst political cartoon. If you go to Kaggle.com, no offense to anyone on Kaggle.com, some of the best Pulitzer Prize winning cartoonists in the world.
with some of the strongest pelvic floors.
That's Giggle.com.
Oh, okay.
I think you mistyped that.
There's these poor people. I'm pissing myself, but I know a lot about Obama.
it's just piss coming down the leg and it's labeled piss. There's so many, because they're widely syndicated, they have to label everything so it's as widely understood as possible.
Great.
In as many countries as possible. So there's lots of SS
Do
on
you,
Kaggle.com.
like, here, I don't know if we've... every other species
This will be good.
will say, like, listen, sick in the week, we love you.
Yeah.
But when these fucking tigers come, peace. Like, deuces. Hopefully we see you at the watering hole.
Yeah.
If we don't, it has been real.
Yeah.
Okay, herd, let's get the fuck out of here. Except for humans.
Yeah, that's true.
Who are like, oh, we've got to slow this down. Give the boat a name. Like,
the boat a name.
you know what I mean? There's like and it's making us dumber.
It is.
Because all of this time we're like instead. Okay, and this kind of ties in as well. Herd immunity.
Yeah.
If we were just to, like, when people are like, vaccinations give you autism, you go, okay, cool, go over there and die.
Yeah.
Just take your kids and they don't vaccinate
Just go
them.
under a tree into the
That's fun.
dust. Yeah.
Yeah, good. But instead we're like, no, there's some peer-reviewed. Like, as if an idiot who is thinking that is reading a peer-reviewed paper.
No one's reading a peer-reviewed
like,
paper.
Why are we
They go on to Kegel.com to get their information. That's horrible. But I was, by the way, speaking of herd immunity, sorry we didn't do an episode last week. I was sick. I had the flu. I've never been that. I don't remember being that sick.
No, you
before.
were very sick.
And there's one thing more annoying than having the flu, and that's listening to someone complain about having the flu. You were very nicely going, oh, how you feeling? And then I just come over with, I feel like a dog. I feel like
I feel like a dog. Why? I just told the police who robbed the 31st Street Bank. I'm a fucking dog.
so
I feel like a dog. I just cheated on my wife.
you dog.
You dirty dog.
Sometimes my Uncle Greg will just send me a voicemail just go, you dog. And I'm like, that means he's thinking
He
of
sounds
me.
so threatening, this guy.
Yeah, no, he's lovely. That's how he says he loves you. You fucking dog. Anyway, I wanted to thank you for being so nice. I went out for the first time that Monday night to that
I saw
show.
you. You did the show. You did the Dream show.
Yeah, thank you for coming out. New Yorker's Emily Flake. And she said before the show, she goes, by the way, I loved the pod. I was like, oh, you listen. She goes, yeah, where do you think I get my ideas?
She was, well, she's not fucking Robinson Crusoe there, is she? Big hello to all the cartoonists listening who literally take our ideas and try to sell them. You fucking
she
dirty.
she and Kate Willett do a show called Nightmares.
Also, that lid's off now.
that lid's off.
We've been not talking about that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, listen, you shouldn't, just for the record, I want to say over 50% of the ideas that we come up with on this pod, we take them up to the big building downtown to the editor and we say, hey, what about this? And then the editor goes, it's been done. Or, so-and-so did this one. Or, we just bought one just like this one. Or, nah, there's too many of this kind. That's pretty much de rigueur. That we run it through our fact checker, which is Ellis Fax Rosen.
yeah.
Or we Google it, or we check the Condé Nast Cartoon Bank, and then their ultimate fact checker is the editor and their fact checking department. So most times, a lot of the stuff we've pitched has already been done. That's how we catch stuff. So if you hear something on the pod that you're like, hey, I did that one. Guess what? It's not getting through to the keeper. It doesn't matter.
There's a difference between... So me and Nick Cody, the very good comedian,
yeah.
had a bit of parallel thinking on Twitter the other day.
Ah, Triple M Brisbane.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I messaged him. I was like, did I steal that from you? Or...
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, oh, no, it was from a show. You didn't see that show.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh, yeah, right. How are you?
Yeah,
That's how that happens.
It's a gentleman's agreement.
That's how that conversation goes.
That happens. Yeah. But but all the other ones we just considered them.
Can we sizzle this?
Sizzle what?
The story.
If you want, yeah, sure.
Let's talk to Bob Mankoff about it.
Ah, that's a good idea. So come to California in May, and we'll talk about parallel thinking, jokes.
This could very much turn into
This could backfire.
A traditional airing of the grievances.
The annual.
We'll call it the Mankoff Whinge, and every year we'll get him on, and we'll be like, "Can you fucking believe this?" and he's just there like, "I'm sorry, guys. This is no longer anything to do with cartoons. That's just someone that cut you off in traffic."
It's a list of grievances.
But they had a Magic Happens bumper sticker, Bob. That's a caption of sorts.
They're wearing a MAGA hat, though. It is, yeah. So we'll talk to Bob about it because I know he has some crazy stories about it.
Yeah.
And the fact that now that the internet is so broad and there's, people on Medium, on The Onion, all these different, every day churning out so much content, it's really difficult. It's a kind of a landmine, minefield to not tread on everyone else's material, which is why we do this. This is why we try and punch up stuff and make it not too, has this been done? With that said, there's a lot of topical news stuff that you and I talk about that ends up either on the cutting room floor or gets pitched and then they go, oh, no, we've already got one just like this.
Yeah.
So that happens all the time. It's part of the job.
It is. Hey, how long's it been since we've had like a plane crash or something where people have had to eat other members of the party?
I think Alive, 1992.
Yeah, no, but it's about once every 2 or 3 years, that kind of story, isn't it? Like, they were found in the mountains, but...
Right. The Malaysia plane's finally found in the Antarctic with skeletons that have clearly been eaten.
That'd be good for keeping the meat.
Wouldn't that be good? Yeah. It'd actually... Yeah, but then you'd have to keep warm as well. So that you would not keep as long as the meat. Because you want to freeze the meat, right? Keep it fresh.
I'd say... I'm just saying that you've created a shelter and fire.
Yeah, okay.
So you've got... So you're all right.
Yeah.
The hard thing is, as I see it...
Yes. Please.
is
yes.
Bringing that up
Yeah.
with the group.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's like asking for 1,000 anals. Like, you know what I mean? At once, in one go. Like, bring it up. So,
Can I do it 1,000 times?
I saw this thing on the internet. What was it? Oh, this Argentinian football team.
What was the last one a football team? Was it a soccer team?
No, there was something recent.
I do
that made
remember
me
a
think
story.
about it. Like they
Yeah.
were found in a lifeboat or something, and
But they had started eating each other, or they had started like cannibal. What was the thing? Because there was a story. There was an actual story.
it was
of
a
people-
movie. Yeah.
Well, I remember Alive.
Yeah.
But then there was another instance where a plane had crashed, and they started to they were like, well, just to survive, we had to boil our own piss and eat each other.
That kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that happened maybe 10 years ago. I remember reading that.
There's
Because it gets so much traction because it's such a great story.
Because it is, but it's the classic. It's why prison films always work. Because you're always
Yeah.
like, what would I do in that situation?
Right.
And then you
think.
would you eat Bill? Like,
Would you eat Bill?
and how do you
I'm allergic to Bill.
pick?
What if you're vegan? Would you give that up to eat Bill?
Oh, I think.
What if
Look,
Bill's a
if
vegan?
you're prepared to eat Bill, I think there's a lot of preconceived kind of
prepared to eat.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff's gone out the window before that. I think
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think, is Bill gluten-free? Like,
Fine,
you're
is
not
Bill
doing
gluten-free?
that.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's a
Yeah.
cartoon. Maybe there's something that. So is he gluten free? Maybe that it's like a cannibal. No, we're getting.
That's
Nah,
interesting.
but then we're getting in bone through the nose tribe stuff.
Yeah.
It's a bit,
It's
cannibal
very
cartoons are a bit fraught
it's
these days.
It's very
Yeah, they always were.
Bugs Bunny in the
Yeah.
cauldron kind of look.
Yeah. But every time I hear a cannibal cartoon, I think, geez, it'd be funny to do that. And then I go, there's no way to do that without it being super offensive.
racist. Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's no sort of cannibals in the Upper East Side or anything, sort of chowing down at Thanksgiving on Bill.
Yeah.
You can't really make fun of those. Because that's usually I'm usually skewing those kinds of people. So punching up.
Yeah, you do love an upper.
I just love an accountant with glasses. I love it's just uptown, generally.
Uptown,
Midtown, uptown, Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of it. Just everyone who is just of any of that. Because that's the readership of the New Yorker. That's kind of who we're poking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what we haven't had for a while as well is crazy wild animal found in Bronx apartment.
Not for a bit, no.
Because, that was
the Bronx
another...
Zoo always had these escapes.
They always had escapes, but there was
Yeah.
always like... the guy had a, 800 kilo Sumatran tiger in his
He came
one-bedroom flat.
He thought his rug had come to
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Which was, by the way, a great Will McPhail cartoon in last week's mag.
Oh, I saw it tripping the
tiger rug, tripping the...
Yeah, that was funny.
An escaped animal
Will McPhail's
story.
strike rate is fucking good.
It's
dude.
crazy. Yeah.
Really, really. He's like...
He's a really, really good cartoonist, yeah. Also, his... he lived here, I think, for a while, and now he's back in Edinburgh, in Scotland.
Oh, he's Scottish.
Well, he's English, but he lives in Scotland.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, his hit rate is great. His poses. He always has really good poses.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I always ask him, I'm like, how do you get those? He's going, I pose for them. So
that's a good
he'll
idea.
take pictures of himself in the exact pose he wants.
Which you,
Yeah.
we
tried
had
that,
Sophie doing that for one of the things.
It didn't work. 'Cause
Yeah,
the editor called her a prostitute. Anyway.
It's not very woke. I think the term sex worker. I was like when people change the name of things and then other people get angry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not calling it. Just what difference does it make
just
to
call
you,
it-
pal?
Yeah. Why are you upset?
Yeah.
Just call it the
Just
thing. That's what
whatever.
we're calling it now.
Yeah, that's what we call it now.
Yeah.
It's fine.
People used to get angry about Ms. Do you remember, so back in the day, I want to say
Ms.
the
Pac-Man.
50s and 60s.
Oh, yeah.
It was, to call a divorcee or a single woman Miss or Ms. was like, ugh, do we have to do this now? It was such a big deal. Everyone was all these old-timey, old school, but I'm not calling her Ms.
Yeah.
It was a big thing. And now it's like there's 13 different things. But
Yeah.
it's like that was a really big thing back then. And there's if you go back all these really old articles about it, I'm like, wow, people were really upset about this.
That was the thing I wanted to also... I was wondering if, were there articles a lot of Generation X is killing the scallop industry? Like
The scallop. Get this. That's a cracking reference.
But because how you're always saying
Back in the 80s and 90s, Gen X was like the millennials of now.
That's
like,
right.
They used to complain about Gen X being sitting on their bum
slackers.
playing
Yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah.
Living off their mum and dad.
Yeah.
It's just a constant cycle of every generation thinks the next generation is lazy and slackers and whatever. Is that? I mean, that's a thing, right? That's a cycle.
I think so, yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
I'd say...
It's a superiority complex that
Yeah.
every generation. Because when I see a celebrity and then I see their data, I'll be watching a movie, check their IMDb and go, born 1993. I'm like, fuck, I was watching The Late Show in 93.
Yeah.
I can't remember. They were born in 93
Yeah.
and they probably made their first million at 20.
Yeah.
And you get all, those kids. And then you're like, they've done way better than you, mate. You should be celebrating them.
Yeah,
What are you complaining about? I catch myself doing that all the time.
It's that flip of what the NBA All-Star game was on, and
Yeah.
they had and I was like, you man, 10 years ago I used to be like, I don't reckon I'd dominate, but I reckon I could score. I reckon I could score a basket in the All-Star game. There's no D, you'd get on, and now the only people I can relate to
Yeah.
that are on the court is when they pull someone out just to hold the ball above their head in the dunk contest.
That's the dream
I'm like,
now.
I reckon I could hold the ball pretty still. And that guy could jump over me, grab the ball, and just...
That's my favorite fact about you in your bio.
Oh, yeah, I had to write the bio. Yeah, he's over 6 foot tall and can't dunk. Because the rest seemed a bit braggy.
Yeah. Well, the rest doesn't seem braggy if it's like... You're actually rather modest compared to a lot of... You've got that Australian modesty thing still.
My bio was, for a long time, I think it was Scott is a comedian from Sydney, Australia.
That's a pretty
that
solid
was
bio.
all it was. And then there was another one that was born, told jokes. That was the bio.
Opened a
and
Facebook
people were
page.
really angry. Like I remember having to do for some festival somewhere, and like people had all these flowery it's been a tough run for Joey.
Yeah,
he lost his girlfriend, and then he found but he ended up with a dog. Here's the thing, Joey's allergic to dogs, but this is more about the realization. And it's these long fucking and mine was a new hour from Scott Dooley.
That's infuriating for the festival.
I was so angry.
They're like, come on, Scott. We know it's a tight deadline. You haven't written anything, have you?
What do you want?
You haven't written a single word of this,
right.
have you? I think Sam Simmons did that this week. It was it was Daniel Kitson. He just wrote, Daniel hasn't written a word of this show yet, but rest assured that by the time you come to the show, he'll probably have it worked out. The first 3 or 4 days, he'll probably be ironing out the kinks, and then eventually, by the end of the festival, it'll be a pretty good show. Like that was the description.
Kitson had the best dueling bios I've ever seen on a poster. It's always like, Dooley glides seamlessly from joke to joke, and the crowd was in stitches and stuff.
Yeah.
Kitson had 2, which was it was something like, "You will not be disappointed," The Guardian. And then one underneath, "I was disappointed," New York Times.
That's amazing. That's so great. I love that. So it's this is coming out on a Wednesday now, in the middle of a national emergency.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel? How are you coping in the emergency?
I want to see his scores. I want to see kind of what he went around 18 in before I tell you if it's an emergency. Because if he was over like 100, we're in trouble. But if he went around in par, like if he went around in 72,
that's. I don't even think he can count to 72. He needs 67 votes, doesn't he, to get it through? I don't think he can count to 67.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
And then he's saying
I'm
he's
in
going
the
to use
process of doing my visa, so I think the nature of American politics is something for the American people to talk about and decide.
Can you help me? Is there something in this just quickly on this? Other national emergencies. And they're all just clearly not so they're just like basically whatever's trending, like Kanye's tweets. Or Steve's lost the keys to the Camaro, or the holiday cups are a bit different at Starbucks, or people think Bryan Adams is Ryan Adams. Like
I think
other national emergencies.
Yeah, I was thinking about something like that, someone trying to get out of something.
Yeah, it's a national emergency.
Yeah, it's not a national emergency. It's like,
Yeah, you just forgot your homework.
Figure out, that kind of that thing.
There's something there, but it's got to be timely kind of thing because to get the funding, it's all still in progress. So the story's still got some legs. I feel like it'll dry up by say Friday.
Yeah.
But there's something there, and I think everyone's trying to find the same.
Yeah, that national emergency.
Yeah, but it's like everyone's kind of.
I mean, the one that we were talking about, which was kind of pretty well worn past, so we didn't even bother doing it, was someone watching and going, "Yeah, he's right. This is a national emergency, meaning that Trump's the national emergency." But it was just a bit hacky.
That day, it was a subject line on an email.
Yeah, that's right.
Then Bill Maher was like, Trump isn't using a national emergency. He is the RN.
It's a pretty basic,
it's a monologue joke.
kind of joke. Yeah. I do. Yeah, just I think there is you don't want to be too obvious with it.
That's it, because you probably end up treading on.
But I mean, if there's
it's a tough one because you want to try and be original with it, but then not be too obscure and obtuse with it. Like you want to still make it clear what you're doing.
Is it linking it to another
To another
story? Like this wouldn't be wouldn't be the idea, but like the lack of defense in the All-Star game is a national emergency. Like just something like.
Well, they do say they do use hyperbole for sport a lot. Like the Yankees, especially
the world champions.
Yeah. The World Series. Like they always blow everything out just for the the hype of it.
Did you see the Australian team that won the NRL, the rugby league?
No.
Which is a sport.
It's a sport,
and
is
they
it?
put a billboard up
Yeah.
that said World Rugby League champions, like because they won the NRL.
That's funny.
It's
That
funny.
is funny. It's very American.
Yeah.
They're just taking the piss.
And it
now.
was that American font.
Yeah,
Like,
nice.
yeah.
All right, what do you got this week?
Okay. I like this idea. I don't like the caption, but it's a thief.
'Kay.
Maybe being pulled away. Like the classic trope, stripy shirt,
Thing with the eyes.
raccoon thing.
Yep.
Maybe even a sack with a dollar sign on it.
Classic.
Like saying, I'm not a thief. I'm a home content aggregator.
This is apropos of Fuck Jerry.
Yeah. Well, all of
Fuck
those.
Jerry
yeah.
and Fat Jewish.
Yeah, and all those things.
Real world is contents.
Content. I had
Contents.
contents, but contents.
Home and contents aggregator.
I had home and contents, but I don't think it's really a thing in
It's
America.
more of an insurance term.
Yeah, it's an insurance thing.
Yeah. So what?
What about if it's just a contents aggregator?
Yeah. The home contents. Yeah.
Or
contents
what if it's
aggregator.
like, what if it's someone holding up a store saying, it's not stealing, I'm aggregating.
Yeah, that's better. I think.
Yeah.
Clearly, just thievery.
Yeah.
Just stealing.
I'm here to aggregate. Yeah, I'm here to aggregate everything in that till.
Hey, aggregate me all your money.
Well, no, because that's stealing.
Yeah,
Aggregate
yeah,
is
yeah.
the.
Right,
yeah, no, it
right,
couldn't
right.
be. Yeah.
And that really took off, didn't it? That hashtag, that
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
movement. I think some really big names got behind it finally.
Oh, they're horrible, those people. My friends
Yeah.
have had run-ins with them for years.
Oh, I'll bet.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a real piece of work.
Right.
But at least he doesn't look shiftless and weird. At least he looks trustworthy. He is the most,
Yeah.
like,
He's
He is the
exactly what you would have pictured.
he is exactly the guy who gets out of the car after he sneaks in at the supermarket. You know, when you've got your indicator on and that
Yeah.
asshole comes in?
Yeah. But
And he gets out of the car.
yeah, but he's pulled into the disabled parking lot.
Yeah.
His parking space.
I was trying to steal that part.
right up.
I was trying to aggregate that part.
Yeah, no, I like it. What was the first? Just run the first caption by me again, just quickly.
I'm not a thief. I'm a home content aggregator.
Home content.
I think
aggregate.
contents.
I think
makes it
contents
better.
is the way that it should run. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
not bad.
I just love drawing a thief.
This was one that I had was the idea of death being thankful
Here
for
we
the
go.
advent of
Yeah.
like
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, business has really picked up.
since Tide Pods or
Right,
that. I mean,
right,
obviously
right.
not that, but
Is it a gratitude journal? The death is doing a gratitude. No, so business has really picked up since the invention of.
or I thought it was more like him enjoying like just on a beach, like maybe he's on a beach with a cocktail, just talking to someone else who's next to him on a banana lounge and saying, since they repealed the helmet laws, I've just had so much more time. Or like
Repealed the helmet laws.
like saying like, so you don't have to wear a helmet when you're riding a push bike.
Right,
Or
right,
just
right.
for- just
Wouldn't that
a-
make him more busy though?
as an example, or like maybe it's
Vaping.
maybe it's something like trust me, in 20 years' time,
Yeah.
you'll be thanking me for Jules or whatever. it is.
Right.
When all those kids die because they're smoking
Okay.
the equivalent of
Yeah.
20
yeah.
cigarettes with a free puff.
Now, answer me this just quickly: is Juuls JUUL? Is that an international brand or is that just US?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
I think
alright.
I'd say it'd be international.
See, I don't know what the vape brands are. The big vape brands are in UK and Australia and all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm just going off what I know, what I see.
Yeah.
Juul is pretty big.
Jules big, but I'd say vape.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because it's a
I just like
brand name.
specificity. So death. Wouldn't he be more busy from like since
This is the thing. It's like that's
he's like,
the
oh, I haven't had a vacation for 2 years. Yeah, since they invented Tide Pods. You know, like he's exhausted, and he's either can't take a vacation or he's so overworked. He needs to like hire extra people.
yeah.
He needs to franchise.
Or maybe it's him like
the business has really picked up. Death and Co.
yeah, or it's like
Death and Death Limited.
I'm trying to think of like seatbelt laws or
Oh, right. Oh, yes, because the helmet laws in
helmet laws is a bad example because it's
No,
it's
but
not
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not
right.
kind of like international.
Right. Well, it's New York. I mean, if it's for the New Yorker, like the New York, you don't have to wear a helmet if you're riding a bike.
No, but I don't think you really have to anywhere in America. The
Oh,
reason
really?
being, well, there's no public health. They don't give a shit what happens to you.
Wow.
That's the only reason the helmet laws exist in
Australia.
other places.
Right.
You look at most places with kind of centralized or socialized healthcare. There's huge taxes on cigarettes and huge because eventually we're going to have to pay for it as a society.
Right.
Whereas here, when you've got public, they're just like, fuck, smoke. You don't wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Whatever. Seatbelt, forget it. Cross. You know, you've never seen anyone get done for jaywalking here.
So
like,
one time, but when they were doing like when the mayor was doing a crackdown or something, it was like a publicity thing. It was like they put a bunch of crossing guards and
Really?
started
The
bullying
mayor's
people.
doing a crackdown. What about the first part of the term crackdown? Maybe crack down on that. maybe that.
Crack down on
in
that.
the name.
How about you crack down on Amazon coming in?
Yeah.
Sold. By the way, I just realized this doesn't give away anything, but I can see the cartoon lounge from the window I'm sitting in right now.
Oh, yeah?
I can. It's exactly
From my house.
directly from your house. I can see the cartoon lounge at the New Yorker magazine.
There you go.
That's I just realized that. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's what I keep saying to you. Like, wave when you're there.
Yeah. No, I can actually see it, and that's the building that you can see from. Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
It's the World Trade Center. Like,
It's the World Trade Center. Yeah. But that angle, I just realized, are on the exact
We
same
are.
side
We are.
as the cartoon lounge. That's
Here's
really
the
cool.
thing. If ever, like, I can Google where Jay-Z and Beyonce
Yeah, I
live.
mean,
it doesn't matter
it
if
doesn't.
people know where I live.
Yeah, it
doesn't matter.
No one's coming.
And every time, do you know what? I walk deliberately past their house just in case I bump into them.
So you'll go out of your way. Your path will be a little
Yeah,
bit.
just in case, because
Just in case.
I think me and Jay-Z would be good friends.
Yeah, you like to think that, don't you?
I really do.
You've
I
said-
think
this
we
is
would.
not the first time
No,
you've
it's
said
not.
this.
I think about it a bit.
Really?
I'm like, I think we'd be mates.
Really?
Because, yeah, I think we would.
Just you both? Okay. Anyway,
Now, this is a classic guy on the pier.
classic.
Um,
Cement shoes.
there you go.
All right.
And it's very wordy, but I
Okay.
kind of like it.
I love a wordy tune.
So the guy is in a lab coat.
Yep.
He's hands tied behind the back.
Yep.
Concrete slippers on.
Couple of gangsters.
Couple of gangsters,
Yeah.
like classic old,
Yeah, like
kind of-
Goodfellas.
Yeah. No, like
old
Capone.
Spats, Chicago
Yeah,
gangsters. Right.
yeah. And
Pinstripes.
and he says it can be tightened, but the caption I have here is, as an ictologist, I must correct you. Fish don't sleep per se; they enter a dreamlike state. They actually use this time to slow their metabolism, conserve energy, and essentially restore the bone. Like,
So one of them's.
I think it
looking-
could just be.
That's really funny. I like.
As an ictologist, I must correct you. Fish don't sleep per se; they more enter a dreamlike state.
I like that. I like the idea that he's trying to do the bunny ears.
Yeah.
What if you can see his
see
his
him
little
doing that.
fingers behind his back doing that? And then one of the gangsters is like rolling his eyes, and the other one's just looking at him incensed. Like, oh my god, just throw him in. Oh my god, that's great. That's a good guy. That's a banger. I like that one.
It's not bad. And this is the last one, which
Alright.
I really like.
This is the
joke.
banger. Okay.
I think this is a good one.
Closing strong.
I feel it may have been done.
Oh, okay. That's a good sign.
Cat.
It's been done. It's been Spoiler alert, the internet did it already.
I'm so sorry for wasting your time. there'll be no more podcast.
What is it?
A cat with the cat is there. He's cat, except he's got a collar and wearing a tie.
Okay. I love it. I love it already.
Holding a box,
Okay.
and in the box is kind of all office stuff. Like
Okay,
it's
like
like
staplers
there's a
and-
pot plant,
Yeah.
and like he's clearly just been let go.
Cleared out his stuff.
He's talking to one of his co-workers who's a human. They're all humans except there's one cat that worked there.
Yeah.
Right? And he's being consoled, and the guy's going, "Don't worry, George. You'll land on your feet." Isn't that so stupid?
I didn't even see it coming. I should have seen it coming.
It's good, right?
Oh, that's great. No, that's a banger. That's great. I love that one. I can't wait to draw that one out.
You can see
He's
him
just
like
looking
near
dejected.
near the cubicle
On his way to the
on the way
elevator.
to the lift.
Another mate just go, oh, sorry, George. And all the other cubicles, everyone, and he's
Have
cleared
I
out
ever
his stuff.
Told you about the time I worked at an advertising agency?
Now, we've never talked
We've
about
never
this
talked about
because
this.
I do a ton of agency work and you used to work at one.
I worked at one. So the next show, so I did this show Ava,
Yeah.
and then I was going to do the next one was called Normal.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and the idea was, and I talked to publishers and all this stuff. So I was going
Yeah.
to work for a year in an advertising agency.
Yes.
Have a job.
Right.
And it coincided with the time I was falling in love, and you know, so I was going to
2015,
live.
16-ish.
Oh no, it wasn't with her. It was I'm joking. No, with Ashika.
Delete.
I honestly, so I thought Jay-Z and I would be friends, and me and Jessica Alba would get married.
Boy, you've come a long way.
So I worked in this advertising
Yes,
agency, and I was writing all these things, and I've got all these, but nothing ever happened with it because I fell in love and couldn't be bothered going on the road again, and
Yep.
blah 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 blah. But anyway, they had this thing once where this bloke who was leaving. Now I worked at one of the top advertising agencies on the planet.
Yeah.
apparently.
Right.
I know nothing about advertising. Everyone there was very nice. I met some lovely people, made good friends.
Right.
But I didn't really like it. But they had all these weird little things, and one of them was this guy had left, and clearly he'd been there for a while. So when he left, and it's this big, they're all open plan. You know this better than anyone.
Yeah.
They're all open plan, and there's always Tame Impala playing, and it's all
turnover
cool.
is crazy.
Turnover is
Hot desks.
incredible.
Yeah,
Hot
yeah.
desk, the whole thing.
Right.
Anyway, so this bloke was leaving, and everyone started clapping. Like, there would have been like 50 people in this big open plan, huge
Yeah.
office in Soho, and everyone started clapping. And clapping and clapping while he was waiting for the lift. And he was like, and people were just like, yeah, like, where'd it go? Anyway, the lift is taking forever. So this poor guy is standing there like, yep, thanks.
That's the worst.
And like
Waiting
thumbs
for the
upping
curtain to come
people
down.
and like, you know, doing a bit of like, you know,
Killing time.
a bit of showtime at the
waiting
Apollo,
for-
like a
yeah,
bit of smiley pointing.
Waiting for the curtain to come down.
Exactly.
Stage hands at MIA.
So
Yeah.
anyway, the guy's waiting there for 4 minutes. Seriously, 4 minutes
That's
of
a
a
really long time.
like that's a very long time to be clapping a guy you didn't know existed until someone
Yeah.
started clapping and he
Yeah.
walked towards the lift. Anyway, the lift eventually opens and out walks a delivery guy with like he had like a pizza or something.
I thought you were going to say.
and he pokes out and he is getting the greatest applause of his life.
Oh.
He kind of smiles and waves and then he goes to the guy, "Are you going up?" And the bloke goes, "No." So the lift then closes and the guy had to wait again. And then he was there for 7 minutes. Yeah.
That's
it was
so funny.
unbelievable.
I love that so
Yeah.
much. I thought you were going to say the doors open, it was completely full, and he had to wait
Had
for
to
the
wait.
next
No,
one.
it was even worse.
Even worse.
It was even worse. A pizza
Oh.
man came, stole some of the glory, and then went back upstairs.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Oh my god, that's so embarrassing.
Right?
Holy crap. Yeah, there'll be more. We'll have a lot more ad talk. I can tell.
Yeah.
In future episodes, I've got a lot of stories. Oh boy. Yeah. So that cat one's fantastic. I think that's a banger.
I like that joke.
I love that joke.
Especially the idea of like, why was he working with him? Like, then you're kind of thinking like,
That's the greatest
is
thing
that
about
why he
it.
got fired? Like,
That's
someone
what I
was
love
like,
about the joke is the
I
absurdity.
mean, that could be a separate one,
Yeah.
which is maybe a cat sitting at a desk, like across from kind of the boss.
Yeah.
And saying, Kevin, you do great work, but it's been brought to my attention that you're a cat.
That's another one. There's so many of these.
that idea of like,
There was a guy, Eric. There's a guy back in Melbourne that I used to hang out with who had this ongoing idea of a dog working in an office in a cubicle,
Yeah.
and there was this insanely jealous coworker who worked in the next cubicle because the boss just wouldn't acknowledge that he was the dog. He'd be like, "Keep up the good work, Johnson."
Oh, that's funny.
And keep walking, but he kept getting like promotions and like an adulation, and then the other guy next go, "What the hell is going on here?"
so
like just
good.
increasingly getting more and more upset
Yeah.
that everyone else is like, "Hey, Johnson, you want to come for a beer?" Like, but he's not getting asked.
Johnson, I got a treat for you. It's kibble.
It's his bonus. There
Bone?
was so there was so many. It was like a strip. I think it was a comic strip idea, but we never really got it to work. I thought it was very funny. Anyway, I love the idea of a cat working in a cubicle.
It's funny, right? Yeah.
It's like, hey, you come with that assignment. It's just him with a ball of yarn going, I think I really got it.
I'm under the pump.
I'm under the pump. Okay, so my first one, this one is 2 superheroes.
Yep.
I know how much you love my obsession with superheroes.
Yep.
On a street corner in Manhattan.
Yep.
Because every Marvel superhero is set in New York City.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Superheroes giving directions. So, you know, New Yorkers giving directions?
Yeah.
Zoom up 3rd, then swoop gloriously over East 83rd Street before hovering stoically between Park and Lex.
I don't mind that.
Like
I
the
like
language
that.
they
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
Like they got
yeah.
capes, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know how to get... Yeah. Okay, you go up the FDR. In fact, this time of day, maybe take 3rd.
What? What is that? I like that. Or is there another thing of 2 of them arguing?
Oh, yeah, about how best to
Yeah,
get...
yeah.
Because New Yorkers do that. They're like,
Yeah.
no, take the J.
Yeah.
This time of day, it'll be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, something about New Yorkers always argue about trains and directions.
What if the direction is like yeah, like if it's something like zoom up 3rd, then switch to flight at like
Switch
to like
Yeah.
like yeah.
Switch, yes.
Like, because that's the thing is that you're gonna change to flight at Lafayette, like
I changed to swoop at 83rd.
yeah, there you go, yeah.
And then hover at Lex
and then
and
hover
Park.
at Lex.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
language
the change is the
Yeah.
that's the common language.
You're
in
gonna
that.
have to
You're gonna have to
change
change.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
have
right.
to change at Union Square.
Yeah, I think 80. Yeah, I think 3rd's blocked. Oh, I don't think the J's running, so you're gonna have to change it. You're gonna have to change to fly at 83rd. Yeah. No, I like that. We'll work on that. We'll work on the wording on that because I like that. I like using the actual parlance.
And then then
Say switch or change. I think people say change.
Yeah, and then change to flight at Union Square. I'm just trying to think of those big like Union Square or Penn
or, like,
or
well,
42nd,
Grand Central.
Grand Central.
Grand Central's probably the big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
that's
switch
good.
to flight at Grand Central.
Yeah, but avoid Times Square.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Or you don't want to cut across Times Square this time of day.
Yeah.
You don't want to swoop over there.
Or what if it's Spider-Man suggesting taking the local? Because he's got to stop every... Superman's like, get the express and then the local. Like, Spider-Man is the... In terms of being transported by a superhero, Spider-Man is the local. Like,
the
you've got to...
yeah.
He's got to stop and
Switch
stop
the
the
local.
buildings. Fuck.
That's good. There's a lot of Spider-Man stuff. I feel like the more specific, the less likely it'll get a.
No, I'd
look
keep
in.
them generic.
Keep
Yeah,
them
yeah,
generic
yeah,
superheroes. Yeah. Okay. Rich guy in a New York penthouse.
Sure.
Big rich guy. Big obnoxious painting.
Yep.
Just a huge like modern art. He's clearly seen it in a gallery and bought it.
Yep.
Hugely expensive painting. He's there with his little glass of wine, little house party. He's entertaining people, a little cocktail party.
Sure.
And he's saying, "It's the best purchase I've ever made. Isn't it great? Please." And then the title of the painting is Sunk Cost Bias.
What's the title?
Sunk cost bias.
Oh.
Sunk cost bias is when you convince yourself that something is better than it is because you spent so much money on it.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I won't throw away that kettle because it cost me $40. Even though I don't need it or it's broken or it doesn't work right, I'm too proud. I've got a sunk cost bias.
I feel like I resemble these remarks.
I won't throw it out because I spent too much on it.
Yeah.
Like it's
I've never heard that term before.
it's part of the condo thing. Like Marie Kondo's like, yeah,
Oh, right.
does it bring you joy? But also it's like, listen, I know it cost you a lot of money, but and also essentialism. I think Robert McGinn. It's just a lot of language people are talking about right now.
Yeah, right.
Everyone's coming up with sunk cost bias.
Is
isn't
there
it?
something in like, just sorry to change
No,
tack,
no,
just
yeah,
briefly, is the idea of someone like taking, obviously, you know, she's taken him home for the first time And as she's entering the door, she's like, "It's more of a merry co-op."
What if it's a pent
Instead of
co-op?
a merry condo, it's a
Yeah,
merry.
merry
I don't
co-op.
know. I like that sunk cost bias. I've never heard
Okay, all right.
that
Well, if you've
term
never heard it, then
before.
it's probably
No,
not.
but that doesn't mean anything.
But yeah, the idea that he's like, isn't it? Please, isn't
Yeah,
it great?
yeah. I
Isn't
do.
it really
yeah,
good?
Yeah,
Wouldn't you say it's worth a lot of money?
yeah, yeah,
Just really trying to.
yeah. Really selling
But
it.
it sucks. It clearly sucks. It's fucking paint splashed on a bit of canvas, and you paid $1 million for it, and it's called sunk cost bias.
Yeah, that's
It's something in that.
yeah.
I
Leave
think.
that one here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
actually. I'm
That's
gonna hang
mull on
to
that one.
Yeah.
The other one, so you know these pop-up stores, really specific pop-up stores that come up, you know, like Halloween costumes.
yep,
and
yep.
Like sneaker stores are a big one, like a big, one-off. And Soho had it. The weirdest one I saw was in Chinatown. Magnum, the chocolate ice cream company.
Oh yeah,
Did a champagne and chocolate pop-up next to a bodega in Chinatown.
that's great.
It didn't go well.
Yeah.
But they were trying to, because
It's always a weird.
Yeah.
The hallmark of the pop up for like the last 4 years was
Yeah.
Action Bronson's performing. He would always be there.
That's,
Don't you think?
I was wondering if Action Bronson would get a
yeah,
mention.
yeah,
in
yeah.
this episode.
But that was always the thing.
Yes.
Sprite X Action. Like,
Yeah.
what does he have to do with it?
Like the Kellogg's pop up in Union Square, like it's
Just
it's
Action
just a-
Bronson blazed eating
eating
Fruit Loops.
yeah. It just they work him into anything.
A friend of mine, he was doing one of those things. Like he does so many of
Yeah,
these things. And
yeah.
a friend of mine was walking past one of them, and he just saw Action Bronson standing on top of a car, screaming, "Can I have my fucking money now?"
That's amazing.
He was like, I
That's so funny. By the way, you know how a couple of weeks ago I said there was someone who spotted Action Bronson as the celebrity pizza chef.
Oh yes,
He was the celebrity chef at a pizza restaurant.
Yeah.
That was in Melbourne. It was in Australia. It wasn't in
Oh
Brooklyn.
yeah,
I
he
thought
was
it was in
touring.
Brooklyn.
He was in New Zealand when I was in New Zealand for my wedding.
I think it was in like Australia. Or,
Yeah.
Someone
See exactly.
corrected
See
me.
what I mean? Like
He's
it's
everywhere. Action Bronson is everywhere. All right, so on the vein of the pop-up stores,
Yeah.
it's a very specific pop-up store. It's Halloween pop-up store for the dead,
Sure.
the recently deceased,
Right.
and the title of the pop-up store is called Costumously
Oh, that's not bad.
or Costumus.
That's cost. Yeah.
It's really just changing one letter of the
Yeah.
But they're getting more and more specific, these pop-ups. So it's like,
Is there so? I mean, this is a very well-worn path. The idea of you have to wear what you died in for eternity, and like
Yeah.
the poor person that died on Halloween.
Right. You have to, yeah. I think that's been done.
It's
I think
clearly been done.
I've seen cartoons where they're like dressed up as like an old timey, like, oh, when did you die? The Civil War? No, it was Halloween. I died on
Yeah. I
Halloween.
think it's a bit of a
Yeah.
It's a bit well-worn.
Well-worn path. Is
Yeah.
it? Well-worn.
Well, hey, but costumist. Let's go back to costumously.
Yeah, costumously. It's just that it's a Halloween store for
Yeah.
someone walking out with
I mean, that would be.
there's a hearse parked out front.
That's a great name for a Halloween store.
Costumously.
Yeah.
It's just the dead.
Yeah.
It's costumes
Yeah,
of
yeah.
the dead.
Yeah.
I'm asking
think
the
it's
son of an
just-
undertaker.
yeah. That's right.
I'm trying to get your write what you know going.
Yeah. My parents are on a cruise at the moment.
They are. Oh, okay.
And
You're giving out business
they've
cards, are they?
sent me photos. Yeah, exactly. I think they've sent every photo they've sent. There's been gin in it, or
Classic.
yeah, every photo is just them drinking.
I'm pretty sure that's mandatory on a
great.
cruise.
Yeah.
Do they pay with that little card on a lanyard around their neck
I don't know.
on a cruise?
I got it for them for their
oh, look at
anniversary.
you.
So I
Oh,
hope
that's
they're not
nice.
running up too much of a bill.
Which anniversary?
We're gonna sell some cartoons, pal.
Seriously, because you just pay on a little RFID thing every time you get drinks, and then they just charge you at the end of the cruise.
Oh, nice.
So you just constantly just go,
Oh,
yeah, I'll get us
okay.
around, no worries.
No, I don't know how it works.
You got to keep a tally in your head.
They're not on like. There's no comedians or anything. It's not like a.
Oh,
it's a
what-
nice cruise.
Oh,
They're-
okay.
they're
So it's
on
not a savage P&O
No, they're on a
cruise with
Cunard, buddy.
Cunard, eh?
Yeah.
Like Princess Mary, QE2 sort of situation.
QE, yeah, they're on the QE.
Very
they're
nice.
on the Elizabeth.
Look at that. Well,
Yeah.
anyway. Here's what I think is my bag.
Oh, this is your
week.
Outback Steakhouse pick of the week.
I'm going to hold it off until the end. I'm going to close strong.
Oh, okay.
I'm just sizzling it.
All right.
You mentioned about Jules before.
yeah.
Juul.
Yeah.
dueling banjos.
Oh.
It's a couple of banjos smoking jewels. It's so stupid. Was there something in that?
I think there is, but what if there's like
So
just a
silly.
guy like dressed as a like he's like again our thief character,
Yeah,
stripy
yeah.
shirt,
Yeah.
sneaking around, puff of smoke around him. He's
Yeah.
a jewel thief.
That's funny. He's just got a sack full of jewels. That's good. What's wrong with that?
Because
What are we-
dueling banjos is it's just one
Banjos dueling.
Yeah.
Because it's the verb now, in the way that they say Kleenex instead of tissue.
That's right. Yeah,
People aren't
yeah,
saying
yeah.
vaping; they're
No,
saying
you
dueling.
jewel, Yeah.
Because I was like, what are we calling them now? Vapors or vapists? What are we? Vapists is a bit much.
Yeah.
What are we calling them? Jewelers?
Jewel. No,
Well,
they're
that's-
vape.
Vapors?
I don't know.
Vape. I mean, vapors that's vapor.
Vapor.
That's
Yeah.
Vapor. So, I don't know. I don't know.
The
There's something-
vapors.
Oh, she's got the vapors.
Turning
Give me the-
Japanese.
Give me the. What's
That was
turning
the
Japanese?
vapors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, interesting.
Spelt with a U correctly for our American listeners.
All right. Let's not get into that.
Is that a thing people care about? Do you know why?
Oh,
do you know
believe me,
why
they do.
Americans don't use U's and things like that?
No.
It was a cost-cutting thing. So when people were putting classifieds in,
Yeah.
telling you what color it was, they just dropped the
Wow.
because you pay per letter.
No shit.
And
That-
it makes a lot more
It's a
sense.
commerce thing.
Yeah,
Of course it was
yeah.
a commerce thing. They bastardized the British language just to go, hey, fuck you, Brits.
Well, it does kind of make sense. Like
I mean, I've switched my autocorrect and my spelling on Grammarly and stuff to US and Australian because I'm just getting sick of those little squiggly lines.
under realize with an S.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you know what? Just do what. If you're writing to an American, just don't correct it, whatever, because they're gonna go, oh yeah, he's Australian, and then they read it in an accent.
Oh, really?
That's what I've been told.
Uh-huh.
I'm
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm just saying this right now. I'm going to say this is just
Okay.
a PSA.
Yeah.
You can't do an Australian accent. You can't.
I know you think you can,
Yeah,
and I know
just-
you've got a buddy who.
Yeah.
Oh, but my friend can do a really good one.
Nah,
no, they can't.
Nah,
they can't.
They can't.
That's not a thing.
I refer you to Kate McKinnon in that horrible movie.
Oh my god.
That was terrible. She was bad.
Her sister, by the way, Kate McKinnon's sister, on the other hand, best Australian accent I've ever heard from an American.
Really?
Really, really, really funny. And even then, still not quite right.
Yeah.
It's very close though.
No.
All right. Second last one. Hell's Waiting Room. You know, I've got
Yep.
this ongoing thing.
You could have said penultimate then.
Penultimate.
I always see if
Yeah,
I
there's
always
an opportunity
Yeah,
to use
it's a missed.
penultimate.
Yeah,
Anyway.
it's like people that say forehead.
Forehead.
It's forehead.
Yeah. This has become the grammar cast on on the Dickhead Network.
Yeah.
Hell's Waiting Room. This is an ongoing cartoon that I've got of just like literally Hell's Waiting Room, people waiting, and then there's this one person who has clearly been asked, "What are you in for?"
Yep.
This one is I wore white to a wedding. Because we went to a wedding in California and one of the bridesmaids was wearing white. I was like, surely that's a crime. Surely that's a federal crime.
Wow. What relation to the bride was she?
Sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always a sister-in-law.
Yeah. Trying to outshine. I was like, wow, that's a big one.
Mindy Kaling had a great line in The Office. She wore white to a wedding.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, it was an emergency."
What a national emergency.
She goes, "It was an emergency. I look really good in white."
That's great. That's very funny. I'm going to a wedding in Jacksonville, Florida
Oh, hello.
this week.
Congratulations to those cousins.
And they are then moving from Jacksonville to New York. So they're going to be transplants
good on
from
'em.
Florida to New York. So, but they're having the wedding down in Jacksonville.
That's the order as well.
That
if
is
you're
the order.
If you're doing it the other way around, something went wrong in New York.
There was a payment made,
Yeah.
there was much money, and you have to go to
Yeah.
Jacksonville
Yeah.
and live amongst the alligators.
Yeah.
All right, this is my banger for this week.
Okay.
Okay, chalk outline guy
Sure.
at a crime scene, taped off.
Yeah.
The lead detective, is talking to the sergeant or the chief.
Yeah.
And going, listen, sir, we need to talk about Keith. And the chalk outline guy is Keith Haring.
Oh, that's funny.
You know those classic
That's really good.
Keith Haring
Yeah,
cartoons?
yeah. Oh,
you-
that's really funny.
The alt, I think, was Keith. I don't think this is working out. Like they're firing. They're like, can you come here? Sorry, Keith, this isn't going to work out. Well, I like the idea that it's still like he's still drawing it in the background, and on the left of panel is the detective talking to the chief going,
Did the murder take place at the MoMA? That's why it's like that.
That's funny. It's a murder at the MoMA.
Yeah.
Maybe that is in the background. It's MoMA.
Yeah.
And it's got it's Keith Haring drawing.
Keith Haring's
I mean,
doing
Keith
it.
Haring is dead, but I like the idea
like that
he's a
idea.
chalk outline guy.
What if? I mean, what
Very
if it's a
iconic New
series?
York
What if it's a
illustrator.
series of them, and it's the MoMA Murders? So then one of them is just like blood splatters, like blue lines, like
What if it's a
like so you've got the Pollock there. and
yeah. Someone's done a Jackson Pollock at the scene.
Yeah.
What if it's a lineup at the police station? It's just a lot of famous like Picasso
Yeah.
and Renoir and like just weird looking dudes.
Yeah.
Just all the different famous artists going him. And it's like who would it be? It would be a Jackson Pollock, just blood everywhere.
Well, yeah, the blue poles. Sorry, what did I
Yeah.
call it? Blue lines.
Jackson Pollock.
I think that's
Yeah.
really funny though, the Keith Haring one.
Isn't it? I thought when I thought of it, it was middle of the night. Woke up, wrote it down.
Yeah.
Thought, that's gonna be good. I just love a chalk outline cartoon,
It'd
and
be-
we've tried a few and they
It'd be
haven't
great to
worked.
do it like there's three, so it's like if it is the MoMA murder, so Keith Haring's done the chalk outline,
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh my god, you should see what Coons has done with the body bags, and they're just like balloons, and then like needs one more. It needs one more.
Jeff and Keith aren't working. That's great. They're like work experience. Oh, that's funny. It's like because
No, that's a series.
we had a series
Yeah.
of artists, things that famous artists and writers did before they were famous. And you had Stephen King writing greeting cards or something.
I can't remember.
You
That
had
does sound.
Picasso doing face painting. You
right,
had.
yeah.
Like, I remember you doing this as a shout pitch. I think.
I don't
It
think we
was
ever sent that.
No, I think we were going to kind of punch it up and see if there
I'm
was
going to
more.
do that this afternoon then.
Yeah, because that could be like Keith Haring as a chalk outline artist. That could be the thing. It's jokes on jokes on jokes.
Mm-hmm.
We could make it a bigger thing. Maybe.
Do you know what do you know what I'd really like to do? Is make it like interactive, like like Street View where you can spin around and you've got the whole
Yeah.
scene.
That's great.
So you've got the Herring chalk outline.
Wouldn't that be
You've got
great?
the Jeff Koons
Body
bag.
That's really funny. Jeff Koons hearse, even or like what do you call it? A coffin.
Yeah. Do we send what does Warhol soup again? Like he's bringing the
Funny.
we asked for coffee.
At a soup kitchen.
We asked for coffee and he comes with cans of soup.
Is it
like the
at a
police,
diner?
So it's like proper detectives having
Yeah.
to deal with these Ponzi artists.
Yeah. What does he serve a Whopper with some ketchup instead of?
Yeah.
That's a little bit.
That's a bit much.
Yeah. All right. So that was my banger.
I love that.
Thanks,
I think
yeah.
that's great.
I reckon Katz and Keith Haring have a pretty good chance.
I like that.
Yeah.
So what do we?
Yeah, we've got suggestions as well, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Let's
we've
do
got
get
suggestions.
Yeah. All right, suggestions. Thank you for sending them in. You can send them in on the Facebook page. Go to facebook.com/It's It Podcast because
It's It.
/It's It was taken
Really?
by a bakery. Yeah, I tried to get /It's It taken by a bakery. So don't go to that. Go to /It's It Podcast.
What's It's It stand for the other
It's
one?
it.
Oh, It's It.
It's it. Yeah, which is, I was really pissed off about because I was like, well, I want you want it to be it's it. So unfortunately, it's it podcast.
If you've got a business,
yeah,
you don't want it being close to its shit.
that's a good point. Or you're right. That's the terrible business,
Yeah.
and it's still open. I thought, this is probably closed back in 2013. No, Valentine's Day promotions.
Here's the
still going.
The only reason I see for a bakery or a cafe or a restaurant to have a Facebook page
Yeah.
is so that when your barista goes rogue and says something racist, there's a place for people to give you bad reviews. It seems to be the only purpose for these pages. No one is going to your Facebook page going, I wonder what's happening at the Bell House cafeteria this week. No one. Get rid of it. It's just a place for people to go, this place is racist. I hate it. Good luck if you're... Just a tip.
That's true. Just
Just a tip. If you have a What?
Just ask my dad for his ice creamery. Jesus.
What happened?
All people do is complain on his Yelp. That's
Oh.
all they do. And anyone who loves it just vaguely just gives it a thing and doesn't say anything. But anyone who hates it, they write a novel about what they thought of the
Humans-
ice cream.
Who gives a fuck?
This
what you think
gelato
of-
was not like the one I had in
Listen,
Sicily.
Karen. No one gives a
it's always
shit
Karen.
about what you fucking had to eat. Stop it.
And the chairs were a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
All right, Karen. All right, first suggestion.
I mean, it's called Dirty Chair Ice Creamery.
Dirty Chatfield's ice creamery.
Dirty Chatfield sounds like a
It does sound like a
very
sex move.
bad sex thing.
Give him a dirty Chatfield. All right. I was sitting at the Comedy Cellar Tuesday night after a show. It was snowing, so it got.
Is this you or the person that's writing?
This is me. And so I went to the Comedy Cellar, and our old mate Steve, the manager there at the Comedy Cellar, says hello.
Oh, g'day, Steve.
Listener.
I got to come down and say
fan.
hello to him.
He's given us another suggestion.
Oh, great.
Fan of the
I
pod.
couldn't figure out Steve's last
No,
one.
we did try.
We ran it. We
I
took.
still
we,
think we'll figure it out one day in the
It's
middle of the
At
night.
the moment, Steve, it's in the comedy lab.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
It's still in the Comedy Lab. All right. And he made me draw it in chalk on the table.
Classic Steve.
Classic Steve. And here's what it is. Okay, so is there something in this? It's a bunch of chickens around a dinner table. They've one of the mums has taken the what do you call that big steel thing that covers a meal like
I
a
knew
room
the
service?
answer to this. Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like a tray cover
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, she's lifted it off, and on there is this sort of bearded guy with a beanie and plaid and a jewel, and he's saying, "Oh, it's 100% organic, free-range hipster." So it's instead of hipsters eating 100% organic, free-range chickens in
yeah.
Brooklyn, it's flipping it so that they're eating 100% organic, free-range hipster. What's your reaction to that? Be honest.
I don't look. I think it's been. Do you know what? It's been done.
Oh, it has?
A
Okay.
bit because it's in just in terms of that idea
Yeah.
of and I say this because I pitched one a while ago, which was an anchor with a hipster tattooed on it.
Oh, okay. Oh, you did too.
That
You did.
kind of
It's a
twisting
flip. Yeah. It's a classic flip. Yeah.
The thing that jumps out at me is like, is hipsters still a thing? Could it be something else?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because when you say hipster, I think, well, hipsters are vegan.
Yeah, that's true.
That would be my stereotype of that kind of type
Yeah.
of person, that
right.
Williamsburg type.
Okay.
But
Yeah, what if it is 100% organic vegan? And it's just a vegan?
then why is a chicken involved?
Yeah, good point. That's the question I often ask myself.
What's this chicken doing?
Why
here?
is the chicken involved?
Hey, who buzzed the chicken up?
All right, we'll work on that, Steve. Hi, boys. Long time, first time. I don't know, but it's it, question mark.
I like it.
Thanks, mate. I messaged my wife to ask her to turn the robot vacuum on via the app to do an isolated clean.
Fuck, that is the most 2019 thing I have ever heard in my life.
A Roomba.
Read that
Okay,
again.
this
read that again.
sentence is
Oh.
2019
Oh
incarnate.
my God. Okay.
I messaged my wife
Great. One.
to ask her to turn the robot vacuum on
Yeah.
via the app
Yeah.
to do an isolated clean.
Four
That's
amazing
amazing.
things. That's great.
Oh,
fantastic.
Roomba jokes.
Yeah.
She just told me she didn't know how. Maybe I should just do the vacuuming manually. I just thought, what is the point of having robots if we don't know how to use them and we end up doing the work anyway?
Oh.
Love the show, Alex Nolman.
Alex, Alex, I've got some bad news for you. When the robots get sentient, you are first against the wall, pal. You are number one. They are going to walk past. They're going to knock Bezos out of the way to get to you.
He's even put the message thread with his wife.
Oh, that's so
What does the
good.
message thread say?
He's literally written, what is the point of having robots if I still have to do everything? Oh, that's great.
So is there something in that? Is there something in robot, like not, you have all these robots and AI and you have an assistant and a this and a that, but you can't, if you don't know how to use it, it's just, you basically just have furniture that
Do you know the problem?
Sunk cost by it.
I had one which was which I haven't spoken to you about, which was a robot on a therapist's couch feeling inadequate because it wasn't in a Super Bowl commercial.
Oh, that's good.
But I thought he's just kind of missed the boat on the timing.
Yeah, it's very topical.
I do like that idea of like lazy robots.
Yeah, because humans, we make them in our image, right?
Because the way Alex has told that story, I'm like, yeah, fuck that robot.
Yeah.
Do your job.
That's very nice 2019. Isn't it? Next one from Ed. Hey, here's one. Let me know if there's anything in this.
Sure.
Scene is a big portrait gallery, like the Met or wherever, with huge grandiose paintings.
Right.
Two girls standing in front of an enormous Renaissance painting, which at first glance, it looks like they're taking a photo of the painting.
Okay.
But the POV is from the side, so you can't actually see the phone. And then now you've made the classic mistake here, Ed, of adding another panel, requiring another panel to get the joke, because the next panel is flipping it around to see the face of the phone, and they're actually just taking a selfie. It looks like they're taking a photo of the painting, but they're actually using the front-facing camera and just doing duck face. Is there something in that? Kind of disqualifies it.
We don't like that.
Yeah, because the New Yorker cartoon is a single panel. Generally.
Yeah, no,
I mean, they have been known to do multi-panel for many years, but generally we like to do the single panel.
The insight is pretty well born.
I think so. I mean,
Look at all those kids on their phones and at art galleries and things like that.
If the angle is kids on their phones, I've already been told by the editor, we're not buying those anymore. We've already done too many.
What would you see the angle as?
I think the angle is self, like young, whatever, Gen Y, self-obsessed. Like they've got the most beautiful artwork in front of them.
Yeah.
And they're ignoring it to look at their face.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the angle.
Has someone done this Mona Lisa with one of those filters on with like the bunny ears and...
No, I haven't seen it. It could be a thing. I suppose that's as close as we're going to get with... Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's like you see through the phone and
fixed it.
That's the whole point of the segment, really. No, it's holding... So you can see... So it's just one panel seeing it, just holding it up and just putting bunny ears on the Mona Lisa with the little... Yeah, that's
or
funny.
like a rainbow or whatever.
Did you see
Becky and Cam?
Oh,
really
that was
funny.
so funny.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go.
It's on my Facebook.
Is it? Becky. Maybe that's where I saw it.
Becky Lucas and Cameron James.
Yeah, Becky Lucas.
They're really funny.
Oh my god, that was really funny.
Yeah. You should go and see their shows as well if you're.
Melbourne.
It's festival time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, next suggestion.
We're not going to Melbourne, are we? We're not doing the festival.
No. I think the cutoff was way like December last year.
Yeah.
A lot of feedback on the Gilmore Girls chat. A lot of feedback on the Gilmore Girls chat. We really struck a nerve because people really like it or really hate it.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they were giving us feedback. One guy Berkelman sent us something on, I think, a Reddit, which was a fan theory that Lorelai Gilmore from Gilmore Girls is actually Happy Gilmore's first cousin. It's a really well thought out theory that they've got, which is insane. Justin Gillett said, "Hi blokes, you were talking about Gilmore Girls being catnip for smart girls and annoying for others. Is there something in this? You have two dogs standing together with a smart woman." Okay, I don't know how you draw that.
Smart woman.
Oh, here we go. Glasses and cardigan on,
There you
question mark.
go.
How is that
That's
Jesus
great.
Christ.
That's great.
No. Watching Gilmore Girls on TV in the background.
Yeah.
And in a riff on the old dog whistle, one dog says to the other, "Aren't you glad we can't hear that?
It's not bad.
Enjoy your show. And by the way, I came to it via my brother-in-law, Jeffrey, who sent you the story about rubbish Greek holidays and drinking vagina beer." Many thanks, Justin Gillett.
I'm pretty sure, Justin, I would have remembered the term vagina beer.
Remember vagina, VIR, vagina?
That's
anyway.
funny.
The Gilmore Girls chat has been just off the charts. It's insane. And then people are saying, "I fucking love Gilmore Girls. Stop it." It's.
There are Gilmore Girls defenders. Like,
yeah, Alexandra says,
I'm not as like. I'm not like you. I'm not as passionate.
Well,
about
it's because it's all day, every day for Sophie. It's in the background. And it's just constant dialogue. Alexandra says, "Love the Gilmore Girls chat, and it's all true. I've yet to meet a man who likes it." And I'm like, well, yes.
I reckon Luke would have liked it. He paid his bills for a while. Luke owns the diner.
Oh, good. Let's get into more Gilmore Girls chat.
yeah.
Let's not get into more Gilmore Girls chat. All right.
This is one of these things where it's like y'all. It's like I just started saying it ironically, and now I can't stop referring to groups of people as
It's
y'all.
actually very catchy though.
Look how quickly you've turned.
Okay.
If you want to know.
Fucking hell, man.
Can't skip this intro.
Speaking of cats on the
All you
internet.
got to do is call my name and I'll be there on the
Next train. Court. Fuck. All right. This one's from Court Carthy in Melbourne.
Court Carthy. Great name, Court Carthy.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Listening to the latest set where cats were mentioned.
You have to be a little more specific, Court, but go on.
And I thought, is there something in this? Image is a leader cat addressing the cat population, possibly in an email to all cats, maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like to all cats, re-monetization. Anyway, the cat leader is announcing to the global cat population that after many years of growth in pictures, videos, engagement, and other metrics, 2019 will be the year the cats finally begin monetizing. Reminiscent of the startup adage of first growth, then monetize.
Yeah.
Could be something simple like 2019 is finally the year we monetize our content, with heaps of paws in the air cheering. Apologies, it's so rough. Enjoying the show, Court.
Thanks, Court.
Is something because the theory that the cat content that has dominated the internet, they're finally all going to start monetizing.
My concern, which is something that Court addresses, is cats on the internet is a bit
Sure.
done in terms of the.
Well, that's the premise.
That's the premise of the thing,
premise,
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of cats just finding out now. Like, these assholes are laughing at us on the internet. Like,
yeah.
It's fucking. Do you know what? It's too late. But is a guy saying to a pig, like, I just feel like this is your year, Toby. Because it's the lunar year of the pig.
Oh, yeah, this is my year. It's a pig saying, this is my year.
You go, Toby.
Oh, it's your year, girl. Is it a girl pig?
I don't know.
I don't want to draw a girl pig. I don't want people to read into it.
Just lipsticks, funny glasses. There you go.
Lipstick on a pig. Never heard that before. Okay. Funny glasses. All right. Oh, by the way, we have a listener, Jimmy Patch, who, big fan. He does these, like visualization, graphic facilitation. Like he just, when they do like a TED talk or a speech, he'll draw it in visual form.
Oh, wow.
He does that for a lot of speech. He's doing that for our podcast. He's just been listening to the pod and just doodling what we're talking about.
Oh, wow.
As a giant illustration. So yeah, we'll post it on our Facebook page and Jimmy Patch on Instagram. Pretty cool.
That's amazing. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
We'll put that up on Facebook or whatever.
Chuck it up on the old.
When I say we, Jason.
Thanks, mate. That's funny.
Jimmy Patch is a great name, by the way.
It is a great name.
It sounds like someone that you have to kind of team up with in Red Dead.
Jimmy
Go
Patch.
and see Jimmy Patch. It's on the other side of Valentine.
Is there something in this K89 Kelly saying the saying hair of the dog we mentioned hair of the dog when we were hungover the other week.
Yeah, again, going to have to be more specific.
Conjured up an image of a dog grooming salon next to a bar or an alcoholic sitting next to a dog with barely any hair left. Something about hair of the dog. Is there something in that?
Oh, right.
This is the equivalent of what kids used to do to Mr. Squiggle. This is just
Upside
draw
down,
in some
upside
vague
down.
lines and then he had to make it into something. You've given us a topic and a vague premise, and now we have to make it into a cartoon.
Yeah.
Upside
Yeah,
down.
it's kind of Mad Libsy, this one.
Yeah. Hair of the dog.
So what the lineage of the saying is like the hair of the dog that bit you is the way that you kind of...
Yeah, so drink alcohol if you're hungover.
Yeah.
All right, we'll have a think about it and maybe something will pop up in the next few weeks. Well, thank you for sending in your suggestions.
Where can people send them, Jason?
They can send them to the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/itsitpodcast. Grab your tickets to the live pod April 9th.
Where can people get them? That'll be on the Facebook.
Caveat.nyc.
Caveat.nyc.
But we'll constantly post stuff about it We'll post stuff about it on the Facebook page and our Instagrams. But yeah, keep an eye out.
It's just one of those things. listen, we don't like this any more than you do.
We have to move.
But until we sell this fucker out, this is how it is.
Yeah. And we'll do it we'll give you content. We'll give you like cartoons at least. We're not just going to plug it. We'll give you some cartoons.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, so catch us there and jump on the Facebook page for more details. And of course, Bob Mankoff is our guest in May, and a big movie star celebrity is our guest in April. Get your tickets now. Get a bunch of friends together and come to that show.
Bye.
Bye.